Salute everybody. Welcome to Switching Lanes with Miss Parker. Miss Parker, I hope everybody's having a blessed Friday. And thanks to those that hit the like button in advance. I appreciate that. Hey Sherry, welcome. Zilla, she said, I'm so proud you touched on this baby's case. RIP Alana DeFreeze. Absolutely, sister. Please don't forget to hit that like button as you come in or pass by. Turn on your notification bell so you won't miss one of these demonstrations that I do. And also share the live to keep these kids' names alive and to bring awareness. Riders, you can help me reach my YouTube goal by purchasing a super sticker or a super chat. Memberships are also available for purchase. The incentive is given to the content creators by YouTube. And it just helps to keep the channel growing and stuff like that. And extra bonus for content creators. Say hello to your neighbor as you come in, and thanks in advance, riders. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. I hope everybody's having a blessed Friday. We was here pretty late this morning, and baby, tired, because I'm going to be here later on with you guys tonight to cover some more stories and also kind of touch on what we talked about yesterday with Naziah Harris as well. Thank you, sister. Thank you, Zilla. Thank you, my sister, my rider. Hey, Francis, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Dens Diva? Hey, Sean, my sister, my rider. What in the word? What in the word? When I look up these stories and, get my news for my news show and stuff, I'm always left with what in the word? What in the word? But today I added on Alana DeFreeze. So I said when I start doing my trending and celebrity news topics, I'm going to start discussing one of these stories. And sometimes it's going to be history. It just depends. But definitely these children's names need to stay alive, and I want to share it. Hey, living life in Florida. Hey, born a queen. Hey, salute. But before I get into what happened to Alana DeFreeze, a story up in Cleveland, Ohio. It's a lot going on in Ohio. It's a lot going on in Detroit. A lot. And I got to cover it. Hey, sister. What's going on, positive? My sister, my rider. Let me see you guys 1 second. Okay. And I want to share some news with you guys as well. I got a couple announcements. Hey, Ryzen, what's going on, love? Hey, Crystal. Gone On fans will be available for purchase. Gone On fans, and also Gone On wine glasses and Gone On shot glasses will be available for purchase, as well as t-shirts. Thank you, Zilla. Thank you. Thank you. If you guys don't mind, I only got 3 more super stickers or super chats to reach my YouTube goal, and anything is welcome. Also, let me read you guys this. So as you know, we talk about the Naziah Harris case. Shank Rock talks about Naziah Harris and stuff like that. So let me get to this. Let me read you guys this. Oh, this is from our sister, our rider Chevy and Latif. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you. Love all the work you do. Thank you. This is from Latif, our attorney over here at the Riders, and our sister Chevy. She said, hey, Miss Park, I wanted to share that I was the person who submitted the bill idea. I heard back from Christian Golenbrand, and it has been assigned a case number for me to review the Nefertiti and Naziah Harris Children of America Act. I was like, thank you so much, Chevy. Love you. She said, she told me she wanted me to explain. They said, thank you for contacting my casework team. If you are a New Yorker who needs assistance from a federal government agency, my staff will review the information you presented and contact you if additional information is needed. And that's the Senate. That is the Senate. Our sister Chevy has created a bill, and the bill is the Nefertiti and Naziah Harris Children of America Act. How big is that? How big is that? People want petitions signed and things like that, but you don't have to do all of that. Just in a short amount of time, they got a bill, and it has a case number. So let's pray that this bill goes through. Salute to you again, Chevy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for doing this for all the Naziah Harris and Nefertitis around the world. Thank you so much. And we all know that Nefertiti is the story I covered. And it was Latif's cousin. Latif and my homegirl China was their cousin. Nefertiti was, whose mother unalived her, took her life. And so, Chevy, thank you for doing that. I see you, Chevy. Thank you for adding Nefertiti to this list of bills to be changed. Salute to you. Salute to you. And salute to Latif. Salute to Latif, because, you know, putting in that work for free to change bills and also to change lives for many of the Nefertitis and the Naziahs that don't got a voice, whose story hasn't even been covered, who hasn't received justice. Hey, Ray. And there goes my girl Chevy right there. Thank you, boo. Thank you. Love you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And more bills can be changed with a village. We have to start like Chevy did. And again, it has a case number. Hey, Colton. Hey, Ray. I know, Borna. I know, Zilla. Oh, my goodness. This is amazing. I know, Crystal. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is good news for us over here at the Ryder family. This is amazing. You know, we're living in a generation now where we just have to be mindful where we go. And I know sometimes it's like you just get off work, you just need a drink, or you just want to go out and have a good time. But all establishments don't have our best interest at heart. We just never know who we're going to run into. Could be an enemy. Could be a racist.
A third person charged in the violent beating of a local dad, Preston Coleman, at the VFW in Aliquippa in January. Bartender Ireland Brown, with the orange shirt, turned herself into the Aliquippa Police Department. She left wearing handcuffs. Surveillance video shows Ireland watched as Brett Hours brutally punched, kicked, and strangled Coleman for 30 minutes. Hey, why did you do this?
I am a racist, that's why.
Police say Ireland originally told them she was in a bathroom and didn't see the attack. She also denied knowing Hours or his girlfriend who was with him. Brown later admitted that Brett Hours is a close family friend who she refers to as Uncle, and she didn't call 911 until after Brett got away. Surveillance video also shows Ireland on her cell phone. Police say she texted her dad, Ronald Brown, saying, "This dude can't stand up. I think this dude's gonna die. Brett won't stop beating him. He's gurgling. Covered in blood. He's going to stab him." Police say Ireland's dad arrived at the bar, and detectives say he participated in beating the victim. Court records show during the attack, Ireland gave her dad a wash rag that he and Brett Hours used to wipe crucial blood evidence.
A black man. They said, "Why did you do this in the bar?" The guy, the friend of the bar owner, said it because I'm a fucking racist. We are living in that time. We have to stay woke. You know when a place is just not for you. We know this. But why go into those establishments? Yeah. I know, positive. Thank you, sister, my rider. So he's unalived. I'm going to keep up with his story. It's sad. It's unfortunate. Just, you know, like I said, enjoying a beer. Want to go to the bar and enjoy a beer and, you know, to get unalived. Thank you, sister. Thank you. You showing off now? As we talk about these kids and stuff, well, the world was wild with R. Kelly, one of the biggest R&B pop artists. Songs that Babies was made to. We stepping into the name of love. But for the likes of me, I could never understand with Aaliyah why her mother allowed Aaliyah to mess with Robert Kelly. And I just said, dang, why, come on, she even married him. But I couldn't understand why, and she was amongst a lot of other men that was way older than her. Now, for the likes of me, I couldn't understand why these mothers, even the other victims, I said, hey, Passion, I said, where are their mothers? Why aren't the parents being held accountable? Why was these parents allowing their teenage children to go and be with this man late hours of the night? Cause see, I got children and my kids ain't going in no studio with no Kanye or none of that. Hey Bridget, hey Bookie. My kids was never not for the love of money. So I kept saying, where's the parents when these kids are giving these horrible details of them allowing them to go with R. Kelly? But one of the victims has spoken out and she said some things.
And her mother actually was attracted to him as well. And he said when Aaliyah would go to sleep, that he would, this is what he said.
What's up? I'm Alianna, and if it's happening in entertainment, you can best believe it's happening on E!
It's a lot of work. It really is. Now that I have, dual career, it's double the workload. But I'm really enjoying it. This is what I've wanted since I was a little girl.
First thing he confided in me about was about his own sex. He told me that his sister him when they were children.
The unfolding narrative surrounding the resurgence of allegations against Robert R. Kelly and his impending aggravated SA case has taken an even more disconcerting turn. In a recent interview, accuser Lisa Van Allen delivered a startling revelation regarding Kelly's purported connection with the late singer Aaliyah. To be more precise, the focus shifted to Aaliyah's mother, Diane Houghton.
He said that he would go in the living room and him and her would do something on the couch while Aaliyah was sleeping in the bedroom.
Accuser Lisa Van Allen, in the latest development, has stepped forward with a new assertion, claiming that the embattled R&B singer R. Kelly was involved in an S relationship not only with Aaliyah, but also with the late singer's mother. Speaking on Vlad TV, Allen alleges that after Aaliyah had fallen asleep, Kelly would reportedly engage in S acts with the deceased singer's mom.
She's Lisa Van Allen, one of the victims, said that when she messed with R. Kelly, that he gave her some information. He said that he was SA'd by his sister when he was growing up. She also alleged that he told her that it's been that he would have sexual encounters with Aaliyah's mother. Yeah, that's been out. I never knew that. But it comes to me talking about these cases, Crystal, with these children and these parents that turn a blind eye. Some for the love of money. Let's not forget Usher staying with P. Diddy. And when in an interview they asked Usher would he allow his son to go with P. Diddy, he said no, absolutely not. Why are we turning a blind eye to things as parents for the love of money? Why are we turning a blind eye without money being involved? But it's those in the industry. Because, see, we're so focused on just our communities. What about the industry? What about Diddy? What about R. Kelly and all these victims? Where was the parents? All these kids are traumatized, but yet we say nothing. We see nothing. We see no changes in diets, which we see no changes in our children. Absolutely, Crystal. Absolutely. And I had to think, I said, I believe it. I honestly believe it. They need to be in jail, right? Come on, Crystal. I said the same thing. All them victims, you got hundreds and hundreds of victims. But the parents was allowing these children to go with this man. And it's like, wait, so why is he just getting punished for that when the mother allowed it? Sure, they was giving consent. The parent to me is giving consent. Yep, R. Kelly brother gave an interview and he said that his sister would tell one to go outside while she played with the other. Mm, 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 mm. And look how the plague went to everybody else's life. All these children that was destroyed by Robert Kelly. Off of trauma that he endured by his own sister. Me too. Me too, right? Me too. Zilla, for the life of me, I'm like Crystal. I mean, why ain't nobody being held accountable? Why do we keep having these stories where hundreds of kids come through? This is allegedly. Let me play it. This is allegedly a leaked call of one of Diddy's victims. And let's see how it plays out in the industry. How does it go down? How does it really go down with the kids in the industry?
If you tell anyone, especially the police, I will kill your whole family. You are mine now, and you will do everything I say. You're my bitch now.
Emily Collins was one of P. Diddy's victims of child trafficking, but managed to escape. And in this video, we have the opportunity to hear her story, where she tells all the atrocities she was forced to do to the American rapper. Imagine a beautiful young woman, full of light, who had a dream of being an international model, receives an invitation that seemed to be the perfect opportunity. But when she walks through the doors of a luxurious hotel, she enters a dark universe, commanded by one of the most powerful men in the industry, P. Diddy. What happened to Emily Collins that night changed her life forever. Now, after years of silence, she's ready to reveal the darkest secrets of a scheme that no one dared expose. Emily Collins' account begins like this.
Since I was little, I always dreamed of being a model. I spent hours in front of the mirror, imagining what it would be like to be on the catwalk, wearing stunning clothes and listening to the applause of a crowd. At 16, I thought I was ready to take the first step towards that dream. So when a stylish woman named Claire approached me after a local fashion show in my town, saying I had the potential to be a star, it felt like the universe was finally listening to me. Claire was charismatic and seemed to know everything about the fashion world. She told me that she worked as a scout for big agencies and that there was a perfect opportunity for me in New York, an exclusive casting for promising young models. When I showed the invitation to my parents, they were hesitant, but Claire seemed so professional that she ended up winning their trust. He promised it would just be a chance to show my talent. When we arrived at the hotel in New York, I was blown away. It was the most luxurious place I had ever seen, with a facade that shone like gold in the nightlight. The main hall was full of girls my age, all as nervous as I was. It was impossible not to feel like something big was about to happen. But even in the midst of that glow, something seemed off. There were no photographers, cameras, or any sign of a professional environment. When I asked Claire, she responded with a quick smile. Everything will be explained in due time, dear.
Hey, Bernadette, welcome, love, welcome. Hey, Nick. Hey, Candy. See, we have to be mindful as parents when our kids want to live their dreams of being a model, an actor, a singer. It's dangerous, not because you're no longer in your regular community. It's danger in the industry. It's people lurking all through the world, waiting on an opportunity to essay your children, unalive your children, make your children do satanic acts. Hey, Nick. Oh, shit, I never heard that about Aaliyah's mom. Me neither. Me neither. You're welcome. It's predators everywhere. Right. Come on. Let's go. It's more, it's, and the fact that a woman went and scouted her out, just like the Weinstein, touching the kids with her husband. It's the fact that it's our sisters going to scout these young ladies out. She said, Usher said, hell no, okay? I ain't see Portia come in here, but I seen you speak to Portia. I didn't see her though. But yeah, Usher said, hell no. What was so bad that Usher wouldn't allow his son what his mother allowed him to do? He even said some of the things that he seen was unthinkable acts. Absolutely, Alma. Absolutely, Alma. Absolutely. She said, was shedding a scalp. Yeah. I want to get to that too. Because it's something that I caught, and I just, I don't want to overlook it. Our communities are losing. We're losing our kids to predatory monsters. We're losing our kids to family members being predators as well. We are losing our loved ones to hands of family members. But more today, I'm seeing we're unaliving these parents. And I never understood. I pray for my mother every day. Yep, she was. Shannon, she may as well have been a scout. She provided her own as well. Bridget said, you have to keep in mind there are a lot of women that are part of trafficking. Let's go. Let's go, Bridget. They give a fake sense of security and will deliver you right into the hands of someone that wants to hurt you. You said it perfect, Bridget. Thank you. Because that's absolutely a Shannon Harris. Hey, Natasha. But Bridget, you said it well. Those are the scouters. Bridget. You heard the victim say, the woman came, I just wanted a model. How they be sitting there acting like they're agents and stuff for these young ladies. Sitting in the crowd of the real agents, blending in with their folders, wanting body shots, and taking them to a monster. They've sold their soul. They've been traumatized. So they turn those people into recruiters. She said, all of them. Yeah. Hey, sister. Hey, Rob. But I got, yesterday I did my news clip and we talked about down here in North Carolina. A mother happy for her son to come home from jail. She writes a post. My baby's coming home. I'm so excited. Little did she know that she was welcoming him with open arms. But he wasn't accepting. He unalived her and his 15-year-old brother. What's going on, Carla? Unalived the mother and his 15-year-old brother. They be in the nail shops, hair shops, model agencies, etc. Stay alert and stay alive. Absolutely. 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 But this is a case of unaliving his mother.
Thaddeus Joseph?
A recent graduate of UMass Lowell's Business School is charged with murdering his mother, Astrid Joseph, in the family's Avon home while his father was at work.
The defendant had told the victim and him that he was having anxiety and mental health issues.
Norfolk County prosecutors revealed a chilling call made from the victim's phone to her husband hours before he rushed home to find her lifeless body on the kitchen floor next to a carving knife and the family's Nissan Pathfinder gone.
He heard the defendant say, I have your phone. He then heard his wife respond saying, I'm your mother, give me the phone. The phone then disconnected.
Police quickly tracked down Thaddeus Joseph inside South Shore Plaza in Braintree. Our camera captured him being brought into an Avon police cruiser following the arrest, and police recovering shopping bags from a luxury streetwear store.
The family's going through some things, and they're trying to just kind of come to grips with that.
Family friends say the traumatic details are magnifying the heartbreak for the victim's husband and the couple's younger son. A police report says, quote, the suspect was extremely uncooperative by giving sarcastic responses to booking questions. A police body camera reportedly captured the 22-year-old saying, quote, this is so funny. All I had to do was kill my mom, and then this is it?
It's got to be some mental illness. It can't be just a malicious act. They're such a close family.
Unalived his mother like it was nothing. Unalived his mother. This is the second one within a month. But let me get to this one. This is the third. Just when I thought, Lord have mercy, we losing. Thank you, Carla.
Arrested has been identified as Daryl Payne. We were told by Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter the teams had actually tried to negotiate to get him to come out of the home, but he had barricaded himself inside. That's whenever they used gas and then tried to further communicate, to which Payne came out of the house shortly after. We spoke with Sheriff Ledbetter about some of the actions that were taking place tonight.
We were able to make the perimeter of the home safe, or the suspect's house, and through measures of trying to communicate with him, that didn't work. So we were able to breach a window and take him into custody.
The suspect arrested has been identified as Daryl Payne. We were told by Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter the teams had actually tried to negotiate to get him to come out of the home, but he had barricaded himself inside. That's whenever they used gas and then tried to further communicate, to which Payne came out of the house shortly after. We spoke with Sheriff Ledbetter about some of the actions.
We were able to make the perimeter of the home safe, or the suspect's house, and through measures of trying to communicate with him, that didn't work. So we were able to breach a window and take him into custody.
That's a suspect that beat his mother and father with a cinder block to death. 3 within a month. I said, damn, our communities, we're losing. Bridget said, Ray said, they're going to flash some money and drive a nice car and talk how to talk good and reel them in. I remember a mother who made a video about a woman recording her daughter, showing her daughter on a video call to a man. Her daughter overheard the conversation and told mom. And this took place at a nail shop. Trust me, the same way you give out your money, hardly. She said, trust people the same way you give out your money, hardly, okay? She said, I know I mentioned it before, but I'm a barber instructor in California. We have to teach human trafficking, SA, and DV. She said, nowhere is safe. Schools, churches, grocery stores, parks are no. I mean, come on, y'all. The pedophiles are hiding out in the bathrooms at the parks. When I seen that video at that man saying he had to go in and check his daughter, he said usually stands outside and wait. And this, y'all know, if y'all ever been to a park where they got the bathrooms in the park and you go in, you can go in either way. But he said something this time told him to go in with the little girl. And boy, did he use his head, because when he goes in there, it's a man coming out the bathroom. He said, you're not supposed to be in here, fam. He's like, oh, yeah, I know the other one was full. He said, or it was dirty or something. But he's like, yeah, you're not supposed to be in there. And he left. He said he left the park immediately. I said, not them hiding in stalls at the park. But how many times do the kids say, hey, I got to use the bathroom? And I ain't thought about it. I let it happen. I've let my children go to the bathroom, never thought about anything like that. I will take responsibility for doing it. There was a lady in Baton Rouge who had Warren's PO, one of her child, and she gave him to grade. P.O. wanted... Sorry, y'all. The P.O. wanted her child and she gave him to Great. Zilly, you know what? Zilly, do you know what? I want to save that story for before I get to Alana DeFreeze. I want to save that one. You know, we was talking about malpractices and stuff. Hey, Newbie, my sister. Hope all is well, love. We used to be able to let kids go to the bathroom by themselves. She said a police officer. I wonder why he did this. The aunt said there was something off about him, and she knew he was going to do something. So I say to all women, please follow your intuition. We have a forward. I just don't get it, Bridget. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but my child ain't going. Ain't no grown man. I don't give a damn if it's little baby. Nuna wasn't going with little baby to no studio by herself. Hey, politicking, what's going on, sister, my rider? My daughter wasn't going with little baby, dub baby, or nobody else by herself. At that age that some of these girls was going to the studio. Without supervision, anyway, I'm going. I'm riding. We could stay out to the street lights down. The kids can't even go outside. Man, when you feel it in your gut, listen. Come on, Bridget. Hey, Foxy, protect your kids. You better. Now we have to be more careful watching our kids. Hell, even in Walmart. And you know what? One thing about it, I told my chat the other day, about a week ago. I said we used to laugh about people like, we used to look at those white women in there with them little like leashes around their kids' stomach. And can we blame them? Now, after everything that's happening, can we get mad? Shit, I'm like, damn, I was one to talk about them. But at the same time, they was protecting their child. Because we know how quick it is for the child to let go of your hand. And you be like, where you at? Come here. And then they come. You be like, don't you? But just that quick. In a blink of an eye, your child let go of your hand. And what is this thing with women meeting men and moving them in within a few months? Days, Bridget. Then cry when they kid get, come on. Bridget, days, baby. I would be right in that studio. Look, feeling my thumbs. Ain't gonna be no ma'am, can you step out there? If it's a glass. But I'm in the session. Now, when she get of age, yes, she can make her own decisions, but I'm in these sessions. Bridget said, we got to do better. Bridget, parents need air tags for the kids. You do now. Right, I don't blame you. Them studios are dang. Come on. Carla just saying, oh, yeah, she want to be a star. You want to, this is R. Kelly. Oh, my God, this is Chris Brown. Oh, my God. Do I like Chris Brown? Love him. Love his music. But I'll be damned if he thinks that he's great. He needs my daughter for a song and he's going to be up in the studio with my daughter underage. I'm not going. I don't give a damn about Chris Brown or his music when it comes to him thinking. When he asks, if a person asking you, bring them on, they got to come on. Like Bridget said, it's just the intuition. Come on. It's a no for me. We just had that situation Tapper in Walmart in Dublin, Georgia. He was an Asian guy in the woman's restroom. Telling you, Natasha, it's happening. Women be so thirsty, it's embarrassing. You don't even know how this man gets angry, but leaving your children with them while you at work. Then he turns into him getting checks for him for babysitting some more, Bridget, don't he? What about the doctors telling you to step out the examining room? Yeah. You're right, Rod. I never thought about that. I never thought about that. Air tags is your wig is the way to go, okay? Come on, Bridget. All day. All day. Make you want to chip your kids and shit now. They make you want to, how much is that chip, Elon Musk? How much is that chip? Listen to this one.
Guys, have a search warrant.
You know, at this point, we're looking for kids. We're concerned because
25 missing kids found behind a
Find those
missing
kids, we're
secret
here for
door.
incident circumstances. So if you want us out of here, tell us where that basement is. We heard a kid crying.
We heard a kid crying like 6 seconds ago.
Yeah, at the park. Then why are we hearing kids coming from your basement?
She said, I don't know.
Well, turns out there's a basement.
As they make their way into the hidden room that reeks of the smell of soiled diapers, officers are going to make an unbelievable discovery.
Okay. Who are you and why are you hiding all these kids down here? Both of you, come here now.
Officer Landon finds 25 very young children in the basement. She's been sentenced to 6 years in prison and is currently eligible for parole with the hearing set for August 2025.
25 missing kids. And it was a hidden door, a hidden basement. 6 years. And had the nerve to have women in there with helping her, paying women. I already see how things are going to go. No, man, we open both car doors and tell ours to pull it out. And I told my daughter to pop and squat. Okay? In bathrooms and in parks are dangerous. I was trying to camp out in the bushes, but this is so informative. Had to crawl out, okay, sister? Listen, I have a set of twin girls, and they go nowhere without me. And I mean go nowhere. Not daycare, family house, nowhere without me. You see me, you see them on God, okay? Wow, so sad. Yes, Francis. I'm like you. My kids ain't going nowhere. I'm like Sean. And once I seen that bathroom and I seen because he called the police and had the news people met him out there. Because just think if that black brother would have stood outside and let his daughter go, that man could have easily took out the other side just that quick. He could have been so far and gone. Because we know it takes a minute for our babies to raise their pants down, do their due diligence, wash their hands. They'll pull their pants back up, wash their hands. But he could have just in a split second. They even got it out now, ladies. Let me tell you how deep. Thank you, Carla. They even got it now where, and I'm going to tell y'all what got me scared. I was doing my little stories like I do, talk about the kids and stuff. And it was a girl, y'all Google it on YouTube. She said she remembered them at, somewhere out on the sidewalk in like the plaza. And they said, hey, smell this. They had them little roll-ons. And next thing you know, she's kidnapped. She couldn't remember everything, but she got away. She couldn't remember everything, y'all, but she remembered that roll-on. So I go to City Trends one night looking for a shirt to wear for my show. And the guys in the car, they was in a van. They was like, come here, man, we got some perfumes. Come smell them. But I was like, why take all y'all to sell perfume and sunglasses? It was like 3 of them. They was like, come here. I was like, I can't. I spent all my money. Even though I didn't. But I was like, no, I can't. I spent all my money. So, sorry, next time. But it was dark. It was late. And I said, damn, I used my head. To me, I felt like I made a good judgment. But what about the people that don't read those stories and see that they selling roll-ons and stuff like that? Because this lady just had 25 missing children. Thank God one of the kids was crying and it came through something, one of the cracks or a vent or something. Because the police searched this whole house and couldn't find them kids. And there was a woman in the room with them kids holding their mouths, trying to do everything to keep these mouths quiet so the police wouldn't hear. You see how you can come up missing? By any means necessary, you can come up missing. They're doing so much. But when I got in that car, I locked that door so quick, and I never felt like I made a better judgment at that moment. I said, damn, I could have been kidnapped. Damn. Why is 3 of them selling roll-ons and sunglasses? And people put cameras on the back of their toilets. So I'm checking everything while I stand there and wait, because I'm not leaving my kids nowhere, right? I'm not leaving my kids nowhere. My grandbabies always have to use the restroom when we're out. I make sure I go with them. I don't care. She said, OMG. My daughter would get angry at me when I yell at G babies. I can't see you until she started your channel. Okay. My girls are 14 and 17. I stand in the bathroom with my friend in my hand. Okay, Mom, and welcome. Gotta be careful. She said, I don't buy ish off the streets. I'm sorry, Natasha, I'm telling you. I want y'all to go find that video on YouTube about that black girl talking about how she got dizzy after she smelled a roll-on, and she ended up somewhere she didn't know, but she escaped. And she ended up being in the hospital for days and everything after that. I said, damn, not the roll-ons. They need to release them Epstein files. That's all I want, Bridget. It was very sickening. It was, Candy. It was. They putting powder on money and throwing it on the ground, waiting for somebody to pick it up. I heard about that, Ray. I heard about something about money. And don't forget the gas pumps. You got to be mindful at them gas stations, boy. They was leaving needles on some of the pumps. Y'all remember that like about a year ago? I know we got it on the news. She said fentanyl. Yep, I know about a year ago, it was a big old news break, and they was telling people to watch when they pick up the gas handle, because they was putting like little needles with poison or something on them, some kind of drug, and they go and grab them and stuff like that. I was like, damn, that's deep. Now that's deep. Because who's the thing? You rushing, you got to get gas. You're like, damn, I'm running low. They even have females help them to lure women and children be extra. Yeah. That's why when somebody just be trying to hold real quick conversation with me, I don't know them. I ain't nasty. But at the same time, I'm like, and it's short. But I watch them. So Pookie, you absolutely right. That's what Bridget was just saying. You absolutely right. I'd be like, why they want to talk to me all of a sudden? Like, and it was a woman. Matter of fact, the week before I went to Atlantic City, I'm walking from the store. Hands empty. I just got my 79-cent fountain drink in my hand. I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone with Miss Callie. White woman just stopped. You need a ride? I said, no, I'm good. Okay. Why she want to give me a ride? Why did she? It wasn't like I was at the dollar store carrying bags and bags. It wasn't hot outside. Hell, it's just started getting the temperatures just started picking up. But for the life of me, why did she stop and want to give me a ride? She didn't know. My apartment, y'all, here goes a little creek. Here goes my apartment, my townhouses. It's a creek. Right behind that creek is the store. It's just a 6-minute walk. I go out my sidewalk, just turn the corner, I'm at the store. Again, no bags or nothing in my hand, just a fountain drink. She was like, ma'am, can I give you a ride? I said, Callie, fuck. But how many women or young girls would have took that ride? That's the question. Head be on the swivel, about to break it off, okay? She said, yes, I remember about them needles on the pump. She said, Pookie, facts. She said, and what about all these young women and girls confronting uncles, grandpas, and male coursing in church for SA&M? They hide in the church. The church is the worst place, Bridget. You're so right. You're so right. Especially the black churches, Bridget. They coming out now. And you want to go, how long has that been going on? How many victims never said nothing because that's passive? I don't like females like that. I be having a real attitude with people I don't know. Yeah, you better. Bridget, that's their fave, hiring place, the church. I got a mysterious text from a 480 area code asking me, how was my life yesterday? Like what? Natasha, Y'all, the scariest thing, she said white churches do it all the time. We know about them, Crystal. We hear about the Catholics all the time. But what about our churches? You mean to tell me it's not an imperfect deacon or pastor in that church? They love them. Oh, right, they love them. And that's the part. Them Catholic churches come out in numbers. And I'm like, so you mean to tell me nobody... I don't know how many trauma people I got in this dealt with SA, but I have. I'm not saying all victims, but most victims, you see a change. Wet in the bed, flinching. I had a bad problem with flinching. Like, I ain't flinched in a long time, but I have a bad problem with flinching. And y'all never seen nothing with all them Catholic kids that came out years ago. It was over hundreds of victims. Them kids wasn't scared when y'all walked up in that church. Everything was just peachy cool. I ain't going. I don't give a damn. Ain't nobody gonna tell me not one of them kids didn't have a sign. Something was going on. Terrible. They playing in God's way. They do it all the time. You hear me? Crystal. The whole demeanor changes. We grown and we have certain things that still happen. I digress. This is up in Michigan. Before I get to my last story. Michigan, we got questions. Y'all don't know where all these missing kids is, correct? Chevy and Latif and my team had got together the other night. Zilla, Sean B, a few others down there. Crystal. We got coming up with the numbers of missing kids in our communities. Raw. And I'm saying, yeah, up in Michigan, y'all can't, all of the missing kids is tons. Numbers are just sickening. But y'all can do this.
I'm waiting for this day for I may be able to speak from my family and speak to you.
He killed 4 people and only spent 9 years in prison before being released. Turns out it was all a conspiracy by the local police. Devontae Sanford's wrongful conviction story continues, a fight against a flawed system. After years of unwavering persistence, Devontae's case finally saw a glimmer of hope. With a new law mandating recorded interrogations, Michigan State Police unearthed significant errors in the investigation, including a crime scene sketch falsely attributed to Devontae, actually drawn by an officer. Armed with this new evidence and relentless advocacy from his attorney, state prosecutors were compelled to overturn his conviction. After 9 long years behind bars, Devontae was freed, but his quest for justice was far from complete. Today, Devontae isn't just a free man, he's a beacon of hope. He founded Innocent Dreams, an organization...
Y'all are up or putting crimes on anybody to solve them, correct? But y'all have not solved not one missing children's case. I say that why the 9-year-old that was placed back there, his mother just threw dirt over him as if he was nothing. Got up, moved to another state to live her best life. If it wasn't for Naziah Harris being missing, would he have ever been found? Would he have ever been found? She said, after watching your live last night, I had already been in research and thought about that message, and the area code was from Arizona. That is scary, Natasha. Also, a child was essayed in the restroom at the Family Creation Center near my house, just said no one is safe. Come on, Pookie. Not at the Family Creation Center. We think the rec centers is there to get the kids somewhere safe to go, correct? But I look at Michigan accusing this man, he done went blind in there and everything. This man went blind in the eye. They the type to just throw it on anybody. But ain't solved not one of these missing children's cases. But throughout Naziah being searched for and it being taken serious, all because they fumbled. All because they fumbled. And it gained worldwide traction. Not just Detroit traction. Michigan gained worldwide traction. If it didn't, would that little boy be found? She said our churches aren't even safe. No, I bet not. She said Zilla facts. One day leaving Walmart, I pulled the handle to our truck and touched something slimy. But I wasn't alone. I had met my daughter there, but I wonder who must have been watching me. Walmart looks, especially at a Walmart. I'm laser focused. And these female teachers trust them. Bridget, did you just see the teacher up in Jersey? Graping the kids in her class. And her response to that was, don't get mad at me because I'm fine. I said, damn, my kids ain't safe in school. Well, we know that they let the shooters come in and just through the front door, right through. Instead of saying, come here, sir, where you going? Now, you need to check in. They just looking at him come in with a trench coat on, dead ass sometime. That's what they didn't want to happen for Naziah's case exposure. She said, Bridget Wright just found out my Gabby teacher was bipolar. Lord. We hearing about the teachers. These police officers. The police officers, y'all texting the babies. Police. The teachers are grooming our children in school. When you think they're learning, you at work trying to, like I said, keep your head above water, keep your kids' head above water, roof over your head. They in there grooming the kids. Getting pregnant by the kids. What? I mean, it's the world we live in now, y'all. She said no. No to what, Francis Love? This is my last story before I get into Alana DeFreeze. I never heard her story, but you know, they dropped it in my chat, and yeah. So I heard about Alana DeFreeze through the chat, but this right here tore me up. Tore me up. Hey, Kristen, this one right here tore me up. I'm so mad about this one. Hold on, guys. Let me get to it. Let me get it right. I'll do that one tomorrow, but I mean, let's get ready for this one.
Come to find out, Milo accused her boyfriend of sending disturbing messages to her daughter, allegedly made it all up.
Yep.
She looked like she'd be lying. There's another prime example of a woman scorned and a woman who didn't get her way. This woman was willing to tarnish this man's name and have this man incarcerated for what? So whatever penalties he was going to face, you need to face it. Because that's the only way a lot of y'all going to learn, because y'all never being held accountable. They need to lock you up, and they need to lock you up immediately. We don't know what this man went through in his community. We don't know what happened with this man's jaw. And you were willing to put this man through all of this for what? And let me tell you the most important thing about this. Y'all are taking away the voice of the people who are actually being victimized. The children that have to deal with this for real. The adults that have to go through this. This is why everybody has to go to a major thorough investigation, because they find out on a regular basis 6 out of 10 is over exaggerating or completely omitting the truth. This is why a woman scorn is a dangerous thing. But once they start locking you up and taking away your freedom, then your funky behind gonna learn. Leave your comment in the comment section. But
I'll never forget the day, y'all. I got that story going through my news clips, minding my business, meddling in everybody else's life. I never forget, y'all. I never forget, right? I will never forget. I'm reading them text messages, right? I'm like, wait a minute. I get to reading them, so I was like, let me bring this over to my riders. We gonna talk about this today. Me and my riders, we gonna talk about this today. And so I get the text messages of the mom. Now let me tell y'all about that. I'm still say what I say about her. The mother. Oh, thank you, sister. I had to fix the shoestring. I might put them back on. I might run that after I do my news. The daughter made the allegations. Y'all remember, to the riders that remember, but y'all probably remember this story too if you remember. The little girl said, 10 years old, said her mom's boyfriend was texting her. Yeah, right. I was like, oh my God. So I get to getting the text messages. I'm in my phone. I'm reading. I was like, wait a minute. And what got me is because the mother was still trying to hold on. I'm glad he's innocent. I am. Because I don't want to see my black brothers in jail for lies. I don't care who it is. I don't want to see my brothers incarcerated. We go through enough. Our black men go through enough, and I got sons. But the mother kept talking to him. Even though he's innocent, but at that time, you didn't know that. Oh, I'm just saying, though, and you told your mom and your sister, and I want to talk to you personally. We don't give a damn. My daughter say he touched her. I'm exposing it. And then on down the road, if you're innocent, I'll be woman enough to apologize. I will be woman enough to apologize to you if my child is wrong. But as of now, you're guilty. Bridget, you hear me? What's going on? But she kept talking to him, Bridget. That's the thing. It went on forever. I held Bridget. I was up for about 30 minutes reading her text to him. That was like, now you got to read the daughter's text to the man. I couldn't get to him. But because I was like, I stopped reading for him. And I was like, to the mom, come here. You're talking a little bit too much to this man. You said what you said. Move on. Go check on your child. See what's going on with your child with this man allegedly texting him. She still, but you told your mom and your sister. And who gives a damn? Shit, your child is your focus, not his sister and his mama. But your child is your focus. And I go over again, she's texting more. I go again, she texts. I was like, y'all know what? I might not be able to read through this. I might not be able to finish this because I'm trying to figure out why the hell are you still writing him? Why is it 8 to 10 pages of text messages? But he was adamant, I didn't do this. I can't believe you would think this. All but to come out that your daughter told a lie. These kind of things, hey Rosemary, believe it or not, y'all, these kind of things sets us back. Every time. The girl missing, they brought that up on the panel last night. The girl that said she got kidnapped, they didn't. That set us back just when they starting to give something attention. Just when they starting to give black cases attention, we ruin it. We ruin it with false hope, false narratives. Like, your daughter made that up. It has to be something publicly done. Publicly to me, because it's really victims out here that ain't getting listened to, ain't getting believed, and ain't getting no traction about their stories. Sean, it was all a lie. I see through you. And y'all know I was up here mad at the bitch. I was like, bitch, look, you texting too much for me. Your daughter said this at 10. You're texting him too much. What do you want to keep talking to him for? You told him get his shit and go. Let him get his shit and go. But every time I flipped over, it's another page of text I see. But I believe my child, and I'm gonna, but I can't tell. Yeah, Carly Russell. But you see how it set us back, Carla? When have they gone looking for a missing black kid and it went worldwide and we stayed on it for days? Don't forget the white girl that's been missing for years. Remember her capture just got caught? They follow that story for years. Every time her birthday or something come up, we see her on the news. They even say an anniversary after 5 years of whoop, 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 whoop. I'm like, well, goddamn, where's our black kids? I go through my phone, there's tons of pictures. What about their anniversaries? What about their slideshows? But here goes Carly. And the fact that all the parents winning, they didn't come back with her. For all the victims. For all the victims of sex traffic or kidnap, on behalf of our family, we apologize. And I could have respected it. We don't want to hear from the lawyers. Your child did that. What made her lie about some shit like that? And what made y'all have her back instead of thinking of all the melanated children and people that are missing? Like the lady that accused her ex-boyfriend of babysitting her children while she was at work, and she said when she got home they was dead. She tried to hem him up out of scorn, and it was her. Sure did, Bridget. That hurt those babies. Sure did. Hey, Kenya. Mama need to find out the breakdown is something between her and her. Come on, Christian. Come on. A man probably coming in, taking all of her time. Probably was just her and the mother and the sibling. You know. Man come in. The mother loves him. We do. We give our relationship the same time, sometimes a little more, but who knows? Who knows, Kristen? Hey, sweet honey, baby. It's just sickening. What up, Kenya, my sister, my rider? Lucy B, I just came in. I'm like, the Jarvis victim from last night live? No, Lucy B. It wouldn't even been a bad day for my daughter. It would have been a bad. Come on, Sean. Your daughter was going far with this. Y'all know I was up here mad, but I was mad at her. He was like, well, I'm packing the last of my stuff. I said, bitch, let him go. He been packing for the last. Hell, y'all been texting for the last hour. I see the timestamps. Gone on. Don't keep telling me you packing your shit to go. Gone on. I'm not even responding anymore, but it was 10 pages of text. 10 to 11 at least. I said, wait a minute. She texting too much for me. She keep texting him. She kept on texting. But my daughter, let the cops handle it. If you ain't gonna handle it the street way, let the cops handle it. Just go on, let him go. Right? Yeah. It smacked the true victims in the face. It definitely smacked the true victims in the face. We don't get recognition as it is for pedophilia. The only reason why Kimani Latik's story got the traction it did is because what's going on up there in Detroit. Trust and believe. Because why didn't Alana DeFreeze's case go like this? A lot of these stories we find on YouTube. And we go, what the fuck? What the fuck? They was found in an oven, Bridget. We don't get missing people across the news. They said one time, and you better catch it. Because unless they come up on their body. Alicia Rudd, come on, y'all. I'm down here. I did that story. My baby told me to talk about that. My daughter. Where I was talking about Nazia Harris case. She said, can you talk about the Rudd girl? I didn't even know it was down here. The only reason why she's getting traction is because the little white girl went in the bar and told the friend that she unalived her and she was drunk. She said, you know that little black girl that came up missing years ago? Me, my dad, and my sister killed her. That's the only reason the Rudd girl is getting traction. Other than that. But this is the story. This is the story of Alana DeFreeze. It's my first time hearing it with you guys. Hey, Gina. Straight facts. All these babies need us to keep their names alive. All this fakeness though gotta stop. All this getting people caught up in line and shit. Man, look. Parents need to take accountability. We need people to step up and take accountability. Zilla, we ain't gonna matter. We already don't. We already don't. All right, guys. This is the story of Alana DeFreeze, 13 years old, up in Cleveland, Ohio. Wow, it was a family thing. Crystal. Alicia Rudd. It's the same way in the hospitals. You are black or brown. You say you're in pain or something. I just don't feel right. They think you're lying. Like I said, some parents don't deserve these kids. You're absolutely right. This is the story of Alana DeFreeze, another case up in the Ohio area, but this is in Cleveland. It's my first time hearing it with my riders, so we're gonna listen to it and go from there.
When investigators collect DNA and review surveillance footage,
Hold on
this episode of Black Girl Gone, I tell the story of Alianna DeFreeze, who was 14 years old when she was brutally murdered on January 26, 2017. That morning, Alianna left her home to catch one of two buses that she took to school. But Alianna never returned home. When her mom called the school to find out where she was, they told her her daughter never came to school that day. Later, Alianna's body was found in an abandoned house 2 blocks from where she usually caught her second bus. When investigators collect DNA and review surveillance footage from where she was last seen, it doesn't take them long to find their suspect. This is Alianna's story. The murder of Alianna DeFreeze on the surface is the random, horrific murder of a 14-year-old child. But as you peel back the layers of the story, you find a series of failures. Failures that not only allowed a violent predator to be free, but also the failures of systems that made a young black girl like Alianna vulnerable to an unspeakable evil. Alana DeFreeze was born on June 12, 2002 in Detroit, Michigan. Her parents, Danisha Cooper and Damon DeFreeze, broke up when she was little, but maintained a healthy co-parenting relationship. After Alianna was born, her family relocated to Cleveland, Ohio, where she would split her time between her mom and dad's homes. When she was 3, her dad, Damon, got married, and her stepmom, Tanya, became a second mom to Alianna. Her parents described her as a happy, bubbly little girl. As she got older, Alianna maintained much of her childlike innocence. Even as she crossed the threshold into her teenage years, she still liked to play with dolls and stuffed animals. In 2017, Alianna was 14 years old and a student at E-Prep in Cleveland, where she was a 7th grader. It was her second year at the charter school, and according to her parents, Alianna loved school and rarely missed a day. She had been diagnosed with a developmental delay, and she was receiving special education services at school.
Every time, right?
Prep was not close to where Alianna and her mom lived, and so she had to take public transportation to and from school. Her parents were extremely protective over their daughter, and they did not like her taking the bus to school. And whenever they could, her dad or stepmom would pick her up in the afternoon, but mostly she relied on the bus. Alianna had to take 2 buses to school, and Danisha said that the only thing that brought her some comfort about her daughter's travels was that the second bus stop was across the street from the 4th District Police Station. Her grandmother told Fox 8 that she would text with Alianna and check in, and she would tell her what bus she was on. And although it wasn't ideal for her parents, Alianna had become accustomed to taking the bus, and she knew to go straight to school and come straight home after. In the time since she had begun at E-Prep, Alianna had not had any issues navigating her way to school and back home. January 26, 2017 began as a normal day for Alianna and her mom. Alianna had to be at school at 7 a.m. for a tutoring session she had before class began. And so, as part of their normal routine, Danisha would walk Alianna to the bus stop and wait until the bus arrived. That morning, Danisha said she walked her daughter to the bus stop at East 154th Street and Kinsman Avenue. That morning, they were rushing to catch the bus, according to Danisha, but she said before Alianna got on the bus, she turned back to give her a kiss and told her goodbye. But as Danisha watched her daughter board the bus that morning, she did not know that it would be the last time she saw Alianna. That afternoon,
you have to be mindful of those bus stops, y'all. I know we be tired and we send our kids to the bus stop, but that's the main spot. Watch the surroundings of vans and stuff, vehicles you're not accustomed to seeing on a regular. Because that's where they prey on our children. Those bus stops. Okay, sister. Yeah, this is Cleveland.
Danisha was home waiting for her daughter to return from school like she usually did. And although I can't find the exact time Alianna would usually return home, based on when the day started, I assumed she would typically be home sometime after 3 p.m. But that day, Alianna did not return home at the time her mom expected her. The reports state that Alianna did have a cell phone, but the calls were going straight to voicemail. Danisha, knowing her daughter, immediately became concerned. But Tanya, Alianna's stepmom, recalled getting a phone call from Danisha that afternoon asking them if they had picked up Alianna from school, but they had not. After calling and speaking to her stepmom and her dad and discovering that they had not picked up Alianna from school, Danisha's next call was to E-Prep to see if maybe Alianna was, for whatever reason, still there, or maybe she had left school later than usual. But when Danisha speaks to her daughter's school, she is shocked by what they tell her. Alianna never arrived at school that morning. And by the time Danisha received the information about her daughter not showing up to school, it had been nearly 9 hours since she had last seen her. An entire day had gone by, and she had no idea that her daughter was not at school. After hanging up with the school, panic began to set in as Danisha started to realize that Alianna was missing, and she had no idea where she was. At around 4:15 p.m., Danisha contacted the Cleveland Police Department to report her daughter missing. When the police received...
I got to give it to her for calling the police immediately. Unlike Dumb Dorothy and Granny Mom stuff there in Detroit, she did call the police immediately. She didn't call the school. She called the police. She did the right thing by her daughter. She called the police. Pay attention to certain patterns that's happening with these other two cases that we follow. No police. We'll call the school. For what?
The report, according to the reports, they contacted ePrep to confirm whether or not Alianna had missed school and to find out more about the 14-year-old. Time and time again, the initial assumptions in cases like this is that this child is a runaway, and so police wanted to find out if it was unusual for Alianna to disappear so they would know how to approach this case. But it was pretty clear from talking to both Danisha and the staff at ePrep, this was not Alianna's typical behavior. She had never done anything like this before. And so police began searching for Alianna around her school, going to local places they knew teenagers would typically hang out. That they had learned from those close to Alianna that she was naive and could easily be coerced or influenced to go with someone. And so initially, police hoped that she had just been peer pressured into playing hooky and was somewhere hanging out. But after hours of searching the area and going to several places known to be hangouts for teens in the area, they found no sign of Alianna anywhere. As the hours went by, Alianna's parents were more and more afraid that something bad had happened to their daughter. Although she could be naive, they knew that she knew the rules, and there was no way that she would have gone anywhere that she wasn't supposed to go. They knew in their gut that something had happened to their daughter, and their worst fears were coming true. In the hours following Alianna being reported missing, police, along with family and friends of Alianna, were looking all along the route where she would have traveled that day to school. They knew that she had gotten on her first bus because her mother saw her, but they did not know if she ever boarded the second bus, and if so, where she had gone after she got off. Police knew that there were surveillance cameras on the bus, and so they contacted the transportation authority to get footage from the buses that Alianna would have been riding on. While their search for her daughter continued, Danisha began asking questions about ePrep's lack of communication about her daughter being absent. She had not been notified about Alianna not showing up to school, and had she not called herself, she would not have even known. Danisha had signed up for the school alert system that was supposed to notify her about Alianna's absence, but the school claimed that the system had malfunctioned, which is why Danisha had not been called.
You know, we said how that was at Naziah Harris's school. Why did she get marked in? Now they saying the school didn't function right. Because I know in Kentucky they got that where the kid, once you don't come to school automatically, it's in there. Once you don't hit, you know, once they say heard, they ask, you know what I'm saying, you got to say heard, present. And it automatically calls your parent. That's why you would try to, you know, beat that call. Yes, the changing the buses for me. These schools ain't shit. These schools in Cleveland are trash. I can see.
Nonetheless, the school's failure to notify her caused hours to go by before police were notified, and critical hours were lost. As the search continued, police received surveillance footage from a neighbor who lived nearby the bus stop where Alianna would get off to catch her second bus. The footage showed Alianna getting off the bus, but did not show her boarding the second bus. Police spoke to several witnesses in the area who reported seeing Alianna. One person claimed they saw her at McDonald's near her school with another girl that morning, and then another sighting came from a bus driver who told the principal at the school that he saw Alianna getting off his bus at around 3:30 p.m. But neither of these sightings were confirmed to be her. The urgency to find Alianna was increasing. They believed she was endangered, but she also had asthma that required daily medication, and so time was not on their side. In the hours following Alianna's disappearance, there had been extensive searches for her. Police had spoken to dozens of people, but were unable to find any trace of the 14-year-old. Flyers were being distributed all around the area, and as news of her disappearance spread, people in the community joined in the concern for Alianna. Cleveland is no stranger to young black women and girls going missing. People who grew up there.
Cleveland is no stranger to black girls coming up missing. As Latif said, everybody do your statistics in your community. Do the numbers. And be mindful when you let your children go outside, or when you let your children walk to the bus stop, or when you let your children walk to the store. Even walk into a friend's house.
Can remember countless stories similar to Alianna's, and because they knew how these stories often ended, they were afraid that Alianna had met a similar fate. On Sunday, January 29th, 2017, 3 days after Alianna went missing, police launched an all-out search, focusing on abandoned properties around where she was last seen getting off the bus. At around 7 p.m., 3 officers were searching the area when they noticed an abandoned property on Fuller Avenue. The building caught their attention because the back door was open. When they went inside, they immediately noticed that there were bloody footprints on the floors, as well as blood smeared and spattered along the walls. The officers followed the trail of blood to a room where they located a bag of tools that had blood on them. They also found ripped pieces of clothing. The house was dark, and so police had to use flashlights to see, but it was clear that something had happened inside that house. As they continued through, they made their way to a room where the door was locked. Police kicked the door down, and inside the room, huddled in the corner, was a body. When the body was first found, police could not make a positive ID, but they were pretty sure that they had found Alianna. Once detectives arrived at the scene to process the evidence, it was clear that something horrific had happened in that home. Investigators knew that this was not their typical homicide. This was the work of a monster. As the details of what police and detectives found began to be revealed, what happened inside that abandoned home would shock the conscience of almost everyone in Cleveland. On January 26, 2017, 14-year-old Alana DeFreeze got on the bus to head to school as she normally did. But Alianna never made it to school. 3 days after she went missing, made a gruesome discovery. After 3 agonizing days searching for Alianna, Cleveland police found the body of a young woman inside an abandoned building, less than 2 blocks from where she was last seen. Police were not able to positively identify the body, but they were pretty sure that they had found Alianna. At the scene, investigators recovered several items of clothing that matched the description they had of what Alianna was last seen wearing. They also found her backpack on the property as well. All signs pointed to the fact that they had found Alianna, but now they had to determine what happened to her and who was responsible. It was obvious that there was severe trauma to the body, including bruises and cuts. Police had found several bloody tools spread out in the dining room area of the home, so they believed that these tools had been used in the murder. Once the medical examiner performed an autopsy, they were able to confirm that the body they found was that of Alana DeFreeze. And the autopsy revealed the horrific details of her final hours alive. For the purposes of this episode, I will spare you the gruesome details of her murder, but the medical examiner was able to determine that Alianna had been sexually assaulted, beaten, and stabbed. The tools, including a box cutter, a screwdriver, and a drill, were all used by the killer. They had also determined that based on how some of the wounds had already healed, they believed that Alianna had been tortured for hours before being murdered. The injuries to her body were so severe that the medical examiner could not identify what had killed her. The details of Alianna's murder are by far some of the worst things that I have ever read. It is unimaginable that someone would take this sweet, beautiful 14-year-old girl and do the things that this monster did to her. Fortunately for police, it would not take them very long to identify the person responsible. By that time, police had been able to review surveillance footage from inside the bus that Alianna had been riding on that morning, but their trail had gone cold after she exited the bus and walked out of the view of the bus's exterior cameras. But now that her body had been found, investigators went back to the area, checking several businesses to see if they had captured Alianna on any of their cameras. They were hoping that they would be able to spot her with someone that was either their suspect or would lead them to their suspect. After visiting several businesses in the area, investigators visited a church at the corner of Fuller and 93rd, just a few blocks from where Alianna's body was found. The church had surveillance cameras outside, and so investigators asked the church for copies of the footage from the day that Alianna was last seen. The footage they got wasn't the best, but they could see Alianna walking into the camera's view. She is alone as she walked up the street, but as she gets to the corner, you can see that there's a man standing there. And based on the footage, it appears that he says something to Alianna, causing her to step back. And then they go out of frame. Now, the church had a second camera in the parking lot, which had another angle of the corner. Now, while you can't see the full image of the bodies, investigators could see Alianna's legs along with the man on the corners. Now, after the man says something to her and she steps back, the footage then shows the two figures walking in the same direction, with the man following behind Alianna. And then it appears that he grabs her. Although the footage is grainy, you can tell that the bigger person in the footage is guiding the smaller one in the direction of the abandoned house where Alianna was found. The footage was shocking, but investigators believe that they had just witnessed Alianna's abduction on camera. Now they needed to see if they could identify the man who was in the footage. In order to see if they could get a better angle, the investigators rewound the footage to before Alianna got off the bus. They viewed the camera from the first angle, directly outside the church, and when they did, they saw a man walking down the street in front of the church earlier that morning. He goes out of the camera view, and then he comes back into view, walking the opposite direction. He's walking slowly as if he's looking for someone. Now, the footage gives them enough of a description that they can possibly narrow down their suspect. Investigators decided to start with people that were known to police, men who had a history of this kind of behavior. They went through photo after photo looking for someone who resembled the man in the video. And after looking at several potential suspects, detectives identify one that they believe is a match. A man named Christopher Whitaker. Whitaker was a registered sex offender who had been convicted in 2005 for the assault and stabbing of a young woman, but had only served 4 years in prison.
Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? They can harm our community, taking our youth, traumatizing us for life, only to get 4 years. And only to get out and take a life.
They compare his photo to the images from their surveillance footage. They're 100% sure it is Whitaker that they see in those videos. Once the DNA results came back in, they confirmed that the DNA found on Alianna's body belonged to Christopher Whitaker. 4 days after Alianna was found, U.S. Marshals arrested Christopher Whitaker at a home in Mayfield Heights. When Whitaker sat down to speak with detectives after his arrest, he denied having anything to do with Alianna's murder. When he was asked if he had ever been to the abandoned house where she was found, he said that he had been there a few days before she was murdered, scrapping for metal with another man. But detectives continued to press him, and Whitaker changed his story several times. He admitted that he smoked crack, and at one point, he admitted to being there when Alianna was killed, but he claimed someone else had done it. After hours of interrogation and several story changes, Whitaker eventually admitted that he killed Alianna, but he blamed his use of crack cocaine for his actions.
I know you lying. I know you lying. He watched that baby. Because if you look at, and I want y'all, I'm going to leave this video outside my community wall, but when you go and watch this video, look at how he waited. Like he'd been watching her. They even said it's like he was waiting on somebody. There's no time, those with her catching 2 buses, Crystal, and I get it. Happy Friday, lovey. Happy Friday, love. He watched her. He watched her for a long time. No telling how much. And thank you, Annie. You have a good weekend, too. I know. Hey, Empress. What's going on, boo? He watched her. I used to work at prison, and if my inmates had essay class, I called it out so loud so the other inmates would know he's essay. I know that's right. He watched for days. Ain't no telling how long he watched her.
Quote, I turned around and it's like I punched her, but then after that, it's like a blur. Like I almost blacked out or something, he said to detectives.
He said, I turned around and I punched her. What you punching that baby for? It's not no crack. You're a monster, sir. You'll forever be a monster, sir. He did, Zilla. Hey, Wendy. He did. He knew her routine. That's why they said he looked like he was waiting. He went and studied the church. Remember they said he got out of when he was there by himself, he got out of the church's angle, so he was up there examining where he had been watching that baby forever.
Quote, people are going to look at me like a monster. I'm not a monster. I'm just an addict who made a mistake that shouldn't have happened. I don't remember what I did. I just remember when I came through, I was just disgusted with myself. He also said in his...
You don't remember what you did, but you just told him you punched that baby. Stop it, sir. You remember that you smoked crack, right? He remembered that he smoked crack, y'all. He smoked crack and he punched the baby. He was just released from prison. I know you lying. I know you lying.
Confession. At that point, detectives had plenty of evidence to charge Christopher Whitaker, but his confession meant that their case against him was ironclad. After Whitaker's arrest, there was a sigh of relief in the community. So often, cases like Alianna's go unsolved for years, if not forever. And so, for police to have made an arrest so quickly was welcomed by the community. For Alianna's family, it was bittersweet. They were happy that the monster that had murdered their daughter was off the street, but it didn't change what had already happened. In February 2018, Christopher Whitaker's trial began. The DA was seeking the death penalty, and the prosecution had a slam-dunk case. The DNA, the confession, and the witnesses that came forward all pointed to no one other than Whitaker. The defense tried to argue that because of his crack cocaine use, Whitaker was unable to make lawful decisions.
I know you
They
lying.
did not deny their client's involvement since he had confessed, but they tried to get jurors to believe that he had done so while under the influence of drugs and therefore should not be sentenced to death. The jury did not buy that argument, and on February 13th, 2018, Christopher Whitaker was found guilty on 10 separate counts. 10 days later, he was sentenced to death. In December 2018, after her family had been asking the city to demolish the home where Alianna was found, Cayuga County finally tore down the abandoned property where Alianna took her last breath. In 2019, her family sued the school where Alianna attended for their failure to notify them of her absence, along with the city of Cleveland and several others, including the man who owned the abandoned property where their daughter was found. That same year, Governor Kasich signed the Alianna Alert Bill into law, which requires Ohio schools to notify parents within 120 minutes of their child being absent from school, unless otherwise notified of an absence. The bill went into effect in April 2019. In 2022, Alianna's family received a $1 million settlement as a result of their 2019 lawsuit. After her murder, Alianna's parents created a nonprofit in her name. The organization advocates for the removal of abandoned homes and for school buses to transport children to and from school.
Absolutely.
Along with several other causes. In the midst of their unspeakable tragedy, Alianna's family has turned their pain into purpose by advocating for children like their daughter. The murder of Alana DeFreeze is one of the hardest stories that I've ever researched. The images of a smiling little girl on her way to school with no way of knowing that she would never make it there, not knowing that she would never make it back home, is devastating. To imagine the fear that she felt while she was being held in that filthy, abandoned home is something I can't even begin to imagine. She was 14 years old. She liked to play with dolls and stuffed animals. She liked Frozen. She was just trying to go to school. I will never understand the evil and cruelty that exists in this world. I will never understand how someone could do something this heinous to anyone, let alone a child. The only solace is that this monster is behind bars, and he will pay with his life for what he did to Alianna and her family. May Alana DeFreeze rest in peace.
And we didn't get to hear the graphic of everything, but they said it was so graphic and so disturbing what he done to her. And I'm glad she didn't share it because I can't take it right now. Another story of a young, vibrant Black girl going to school, inspired to go to college, standing in a picture with her father in the line, looking at colleges, smiling in her picture, so vibrant, only for these predators to lurk and watch our children as they get on the bus, get off the bus, learning their routine, taking in every step and every count our children take to do the most heinous things to our children. We have to educate not just our children, but ourselves. It has been shown in these stories time after time. I'm with Crystal on those two buses. It was too much. It's awful. I'm going to be sharing another story tomorrow with my news story. I'm sick of sharing them. But I'm glad they turned their pain into purpose. And one thing that was educational in this was if your child's school doesn't have an alert system to let you know if your child has been at school or has not got to school within 120 minutes, that you are alerted. Get that bill passed in your community for the safety of not just your children, but all children. I guess not. Thank you, Wendy. It's always something educational that comes out of this that we can take. Salute to Lateef and Chevy for passing the Nefertari and Isaiah bill, getting it passed to the Senate. And it does have a case number. Let me read that to the people that came in. Salute to the riders. She said, "Hi, Ms. Park. I wanted to share that I was the person who submitted the bill idea. I heard back from Christian Goldbrand, and it has been assigned a case number for me to review the Nefertiti and the Zaya Harris Children of America Act." Again, salute to Lateef for looking everything over to make sure all the I's was dotted and T's was crossed. Salute to Chevy for putting in the work, wanting to see change for our future children. Because we can talk about these stories all day, but are we putting in the work to save Zilla's grandson, to save Wendy's kids, I See Through You's grandson, from monsters lurking in our communities? No, it's not passed. You submitted it. No, it's not passed, but just the fact that you did it. So she's just letting us know it's not passed. She said, "I have to submit my summary." We're just saluting you for doing it. Taking the initiative, Chevy. Here in DC, I walked my son to school and drove my daughter to make sure they are safe. I get for real seeing children walking home alone. I do too. I do too. My daughter's school has that. Okay, good, Arlene. Good. All right, you guys. You go enjoy the rest of y'all Friday. I will see you guys back here for my late night show. I'm working on a few things. I want to know what happened at that school in Oprah, but I still want to talk about Isaiah Harris. I still want to touch on some things about young Isaiah Harris. We found out so much, but there's still so many uncovered pieces. And what are those pieces? We're going to break it down. Thank you, Tracy. See y'all later, and hopefully I'll be on time. It's okay, lovey. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Thank you guys so much for those that poured into the channel with donations. Those that pour in by hitting that like button, just for y'all being here for my news topics and being here and showing Alana DeFreeze love in spirit. Thanks, you guys.